Uche is here with us. He is elected the president of the World Baseball and Softball Confederation in Africa, as a matter of fact. Congratulations and Happy New Year to you as well.
Happy New Year, Chamberlain. Happy New Year, Markwe. And compliments of the New Year.
Congratulations to you on your election.
Thank you very much.
How did that even play out? Because, I mean, I don't think Nigeria expected to be elected president in that, did we?
It was a very interesting scenario because I currently hold the position of the president of baseball, softball in Nigeria. And, of course, 5 presidents across the continent were also drafted to contest those positions, of course, Nigeria being the least. But I think what played out was just the vision to change the narrative of baseball and softball on the continent. And such a very big sport, a multi-billion-dollar worth of an industry, still being played as a kind of recreational is not acceptable for some of us that are very business-minded. So I think that was what I sold to the continent and to the global authorities to say that, look, we need to rethink Africa. Because when you look at Africa, that is the last ground standing for athlete production. The industry is worth over, the Major League is worth over $70 billion. A club in New York, the New York Yankees, is worth about $7 billion. Los Angeles Dodgers is worth about $5.2 billion. And the investor return on investment is about 13.8%.
Yeah, but you have to get the people interested. You have to get the people to know the game. The revenue is going to come from those who eventually watch the game. I've noticed that when it comes to games that have to do with pitching, cricket, baseball, in fact, cricket, which is even played amongst, would you say amongst the elite schools in Nigeria, it doesn't seem to go beyond that particular level. So how do you intend to get people to be more aware about this game? I mean, baseball is big in America, we know that. But it's barely caught on here in Nigeria. People barely understand what the game is about.
Actually, you know, you're very correct if you say, but everything about business, like when I said that, look, baseball is business, every business of sports has got to be visible. And that visibility has got to come across collaborations. And one of the first things that we've had more activities actually in Nigeria. As at 2025, we played over 17 games, unlike before. So you're rated by the number of games and tournaments that you participate. But on the continent as well, we've had a lot of activities. Last year was so much activities of baseball, and countries are already preparing towards the Los Angeles Olympics. But when you talk about the other alternative sports, like you talk about the cricket and you talk about all this, it's just because an average businessman has not identified that, look, this is a very, very good value for money where you could also return your investments. And baseball is one of that, undoubtedly. But what we have done is actually to seek those kind of collaboration with companies, with institutions, with also media houses to be able to, you know, optimize the outcome of the sports. But it's quite exciting, and we have just signed a deal with the Japanese International Corporation for Africa. So there will be a baseballership program that is going to cut across schools. And one of the fundamental things we did was just to take baseball back to where we met baseball, because we all got to play baseball right from the schools. But the departure from the schools actually stalled the kind of visibility that you need. If you need to produce the quality players that you need to go back to the basics. We started playing baseball in the barracks. They are no longer there today. But what we have done is to activate these on the continental level, including Nigeria, to go back to the schools using the baseballership program that is being sponsored by the Japanese International Corporation under JABS. Also, the United States agencies are also in support of this. And the Major League, interestingly, is shopping for new athletes out of Africa, because there is a new demand for players. There's a new demand for more clubs, because this is a profitable venture. Why are businessmen not taking to this? Why are companies out of Nigeria not utilizing this opportunity?
Speaking about the business side of it, I mean, yesterday, the NIS boss told us that this government seemed to prioritize sports. They had the highest allocation in the budget so far compared to previous ones. In terms of ensuring that we have a footing, I mean, a big footing in the sports, in this particular sport in Africa. What is your approach? I know that football headquarters, we don't have that one. Basketball, we don't have that one. Volleyball, we don't have that one. Which headquarters of sports do we even have in this country? So what's your approach towards that area?
One of the first things that I sold to the executive board members is actually to seek for a headquarter agreement. Interestingly, baseball happens to be, we have 5 continental baseball countries. Africa is one of them. And Africa at the moment does not have any baseball headquarter agreement. But interestingly, you know, when we made these open, you know, a lot of countries in Africa have already indicated interest to host the headquarters of baseball and softball, including baseball 5 on the continent. But of course, it's not on a first-to-come, you know, basis, you know. So we need to look at the criteria. We need to look at your history. We need to look at your stability. We need to look at. There is just so much there. But we believe that, look, the countries like Nigeria, and I believe that the National Sports Commission chairman, Alhaji Diko, the director DG, Olokpa, they all are very, very keen in exploring this opportunity. Of course, it will bring immeasurable potentials in terms of the country that holds this headquarter agreement. And what does this entail? It entails housing the headquarter operation of baseball and softball, meaning that all the development, all the inflows of investments into that sports on the continent is going to be administered from the headquarters. And we are very excited that, look, this is coming now, and many countries are indicating interest, but we have not narrowed it down to any country. I'm still talking with my executive, and we are still looking at these countries and see who is the best suit of fitted to be in this
But we have a huge chance, don't we?
Nigeria stands a very good chance because Nigeria has been playing baseball since the past 35 years. I started playing baseball over 30 years ago.
Wow.
And of course, baseball made entry, you know, first into Nigeria in 1960. And for 6 years, it exited due to the Civil War, you know, due to protest. But of course, due to the magnanimity of the likes of General Ishole Williams, they also started up the baseball again within the military, you know, compounds, and that was where actually, you know, I started playing. So today we have that excitement that, look, is all back and is all going well. And if Nigeria gives this nod, of course, definitely, we will see how it gets there.
I'm just wondering, is it expensive, though? I mean, for the schools that will watch this, for instance, and might get interested, how expensive? Because all the arguments that they've made, you know, for cricket, and that's why you see it mostly in very elite schools, is that it's quite expensive to maintain the pitch. Football has been very easy because all you need is a ball and an open space, and people turn it to, it's played everywhere. You don't even need school settings for you to even be able to play the game. So how expensive is this for one to be able to set up a pitch where this is played?
If you look at baseball, we have the baseball for men, we have softball for ladies, which is a smaller space that is required. Of course, we have the baseball 5. Which is just 1 unit ball, a tennis size like this. You can play it anywhere, even in this studio here. You know, so that gets to carry everybody along, depending on your budget. But again, if you think education is expensive, why don't you try ignorance? You know, what you put in is what you get out. An average sign-on fee for baseball is $20 to $40 million. Just to say, come, let us try you. An average player in the New York Yankees or Los Angeles Dodgers, the start-off sign-on fee is about $200 million.
So they paid them?
Yes. Yes. The record sign-on fee is $700 million. And then Otani, that is a Japanese, less than 40 years old, is signed for $763 million. Gino Guerrera, who moved from New York Yankees to Toronto Blue Jays, is a $513 million. This is the kind of money that is in the space. So if you're thinking of serious business, you can't compare baseball with cricket.
Is there any Nigerian who's broken into the international scene?
Well, we've had Nigerians sign on, but it was not on a good note. That happened, but the young man had an accident just when he was about to fly out, you know, bad fate, you know, that befell the country. That was our first, you know, person to go professional. But, you know, we have many talented players, 200 million people in Nigeria. Wow. This is definitely a revenue earner for the country, if very well explored.
And this ball is the So
This is baseball 5. Baseball 5, interestingly, a team of 5 people. In the studio, you have Maokwe, you have Chamberlain, 2 other female or 2 other guys, 5 people. Take this ball around the studio here. You can actually have so much fun. And the beautiful thing around it is that it's a science of sports. It helps the cognitive development of the average child. That's why in the developed countries, you find baseball introduced at the very basic level of education, because it's a science of sports where the children begin to learn aerodynamism, you know, and all the intricacies of mathematics, the yardsticks, the dimensions, the yard box. So it's all a puzzle of science of sports, all put in one ball that you run around it. So it's not expensive when you compare it to what you stand to gain out. And if investors are earning 13.8 return on investment, who has invested in baseball, and they are looking for more opportunities, I think, hey, Africa, if you have that money, this is the right place to put it.
Wow. That sign-on fee is just jarring my head.
crazy. Old man.
Maybe when you can keep this one and you can have that for you.
You'll be shocked.
For my kids, right?
By the time he tells you my possible sign-on fees,
Please.
you'll be shocked. Okay.
This is 2026.
Yes, that's why the sign-on fees. Didn't you hear
old man.
Did you hear the figure?
Let's not go into that.
Does money respect age? If
respect
you can do it. Okay, you will see.
Let's not break bones in old age. I beg you.
Well, let's break it. If we will get the money, we will release the money and fix it. Thank you for coming on Richard Dozo, the president of World Baseball and Softball Confederation.